Over the last 3 years, we've had great returns. And you might be asking, well, is this the right time to take some chips off the table? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe Ward, your host. And in today's video, I want to talk about what I'm calling refined reserves. And we're going to talk a little bit about asset allocation as well. So that's really how are we investing your portfolio? And I think this is really top of mind for a lot of retirees. So, the way that I like to invest, and my whole thesis is that we want to be long term owners of equities. We're investing in 10,000 public companies. So, we're really smoothing the ride with that diversification. Equities returns have been the best of any asset class over time. And if we want to keep up with inflation, we want to be able to provide for ourselves and then even our kids, charities, et cetera, when we pass, we want to be investing for this multi-decade horizon. And so we don't want to just tie all of our assets up in a 4 to 5% return type investment. But that's not to say that you should be 100% equities. You want to have some reserves in place, a cash war chest, if you will, especially if you're going into retirement. But what does that look like? Well, to me, that's really let's at least have 5 years worth of spending. And how do we get to 5 years of spending? It's really the spending that needs to be generated by your portfolio. So if you have Social Security, rental income, a pension, we're going to put that into your financial plan. And we're really going to be dialed in and know that year 1 through 5, we're going to need X amount of dollars in that refined reserve. And then to take it a step further, we're also going to think about what are the lump sum items that we need to be prepared for as well. Do we have weddings, college, home remodeling, maybe new cars in there as well? And let's earmark some funds for that too. We're going to have that in shorter term, high quality fixed income. So essentially bonds, some of which is going to be governmental, some corporate. So it's going to be also very diversified, but we're not going to have low quality bonds or long-term bonds where we're trying to get excess return on the bond side of things. That's the whole point of the equity side. The refined reserves are really just there to stabilize the portfolio. And behaviorally, I think it really helps clients because you're able to look at that and say, well, the longest bear market of the last 50 to 70 years has been 5.5 years. And I've got 5 years of cash on hand. I've got all my lump sum purchases accounted for as well. Those are making their 3 to 6% year after year. Doesn't really matter what the market's doing. Doesn't really matter all that much what the Fed's doing. And I think that helps people sleep at night. And it allows them to be able to take more risk on the equity side because, ultimately we're going to have bear markets. We're going to have a big drop every 5 years and an even bigger drop probably every decade. You might also say, Joe, why would we only have 5 years if the longest bear market's been 5.5? And who knows, we could have one longer than that too. And it's really for two reasons. One, on average, bear markets are only 18 months. And then two, if it is longer than the 5 years, you also want to remember that your equities have dividends that we're able to reinvest. Your bonds, the 5 years worth of bonds, are going to have interest as well that's generating. And so really, it's going to feel more like 7 years of actual income that you have accounted for and you don't have to really worry about. This is not something that's going to be able to get unscathed in a 10-year depression before you do ultimately have to start taking from your investments, from your equities that have not gotten back from peak to trough and back to peak. But when you're working with a good financial planner, someone like me, they're going to be doing a lot of tax planning on your behalf. They're going to be doing a lot of financial planning too. So we're going to be doing these Roth conversions along the way, tax loss harvesting on the brokerage account side. Maybe we're going to turn on Social Security earlier to be able to get you the income that you need in these down years so that 150,000 that you need, we can source 60 to 80,000 of it from Social Security, which would take the impact off of your portfolio until we get back there. And so it's really this flexible approach, this custom approach for each one of my clients. And that's what I personally believe is the best for them. And that's all I care about, not running out of money, helping you meet your goals and doing what is right for you. And after 3 consecutive great return type years, it is really time to say, if you need to take some chips off the table, let's do so. Let's not do so because we're trying to time the market or anything like that. We've done pretty well and we do have these expenses that are coming up. Let's take those chips off. Let's put it in these high quality, shorter term investments so that we have that there when we need it. And when we do eventually get into this bear market scenario, we don't have to sell our equities. So that's my whole investment approach. It's kind of this barbell approach with a lot of equities and then whatever we need to feel comfortable and confident going forward. For my working folks, maybe that's a year worth, maybe it's 6 months. For the retirees, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 7. It's probably not 10 plus unless you're incredibly well funded. You don't want to have too much more than that because eventually you are going to have some drag on your portfolio. If that's what you want, just to be able to sleep at night and you're well funded, then by all means. But all that to say, it's going to be custom. No one's amount is going to be the same because it's all going to be based on our expenses, which is going to be tied into the financial plan. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being 90 to even 95% stocks. It's all going to come down to what are your expenses and what is your net worth. I work with people who have $10 million in net worth and they've got 100,000 coming in via pensions, social security, rental income. They're only spending 150,000. So the portfolio only has to provide 50,000 for 5 years or 250,000. That is such a small percentage of their net worth. We still want it to be there, but all that to say, they might be 99% in equities. But we're going to work through all this information through the process of financial planning. And that's really the beauty of it. We're going to be able to see your goals, what is your purpose, what are you investing for? And that's going to help us develop a plan. And that plan ultimately is going to help us decide what the portfolio is going to look like. I just couldn't disagree more with the traditional approach to putting everyone in a cookie cutter portfolio. I don't think that that's the way that things should be done. I think that if you're going to hire an advisor, they should be putting your interests first. They should put you in a custom portfolio based on your needs, whatever that means, because ultimately, the whole goal is to help you achieve your goals, not doing the things that are just easy to implement cookie cutter across the firm because we have 2,000 clients and we can't do the trading for everyone. That is why I am intentionally building a smaller firm, not going to be the biggest, but we're going to be the best. And we're going to be the best because we are tailoring these portfolios and these plans to our clients. And that's where the value is, because I don't think that by and large, the industry does what is in the best interest of their clients. I think that most of these firms are asset aggregators. They're trying to make things as easy as they can operationally for themselves and not necessarily doing the best for you. And in my view, I don't think that that is a fiduciary approach. I think that the cookie cutter portfolio and maybe a couple risk tolerance questionnaire type things is just the absolute wrong way of doing things. And so that's why I've implemented the refined reserves. It's really to keep you in your seat through all these different markets, but then also be cognizant that we can have this other piece that is a bit more aggressive, where we're able to invest for the long term so that you can meet all the various goals. You got to go purpose, plan, and then the portfolio. You can't let the portfolio be the one that's dictating all of these things. So is it time to take chips off the table? Maybe it is for you. Maybe it's not. I don't think it is just based on the market, but it certainly would be if you do not have those reserves in place. I hope that helps. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.